Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Awakening Her podcast. How are you doing today, my friend? Welcome back. How actually are you? Drop your shoulders. Are you hydrated? Are you rested? Are you feeling okay? How's the belly? How's the gut microbiome? Just checking in. So today we're having a really great conversation, and it's one that comes up with my clients in the community, and something that you're not always asking about, but it's something that you often need to hear, and I know that I need to hear this. So we're talking about the gap between knowing and living. So when people come to me or when I'm hearing, my clients speak, they may feel like they're in the goo phase. They may feel like they're not where they were, but they're not yet embodied in where they're going. They're not yet clear or have manifested the thing or the next level, right? So it's this gap between. But what we're going to talk about even more is how it's a gap between knowing something and living it. And it can feel exactly like that. Like there's this giant gap between what we know, right? Like I know about triggers, or I know about healing, or I know about mindfulness, I know about optimism or even manifestation, right? And it can feel like there's this big gap of like, I know, so why isn't it actually happening? And if you know exactly what I mean, or you've experienced something like this is definitely for you. And I know that, my community, you guys, my clients, you've definitely read the books, you've taken a lot of courses, you know about mindset, you've journaled a time or two, right? You understand things like triggers, as I'm saying. You know what self-care is. You know self-care is important. You know nutrition is important. You know that when people are toxic for you, we don't need to have them in our life. Or you know that, when something lights you up, that you need to spend more time in that, or whatever it is. We know. But when we feel like there is that gap, where we're not actually living that next level or what our soul wants for us, or, touching on the previous episode about second guessing your intuition. Sometimes we can know about something, but that's different than really living it. So that's what we're talking about today. And we're going to talk about how to close that gap from where you are now, because there's no shame in this. There's no shame in going like, but I know a lot about money, but I haven't been able to create more. I know a lot about business, but I haven't been able to really get mine off the ground. Or I know a lot about, food, but I'm still making choices that don't feel great for my body. It's okay. There's no shame. We're going to talk about this. I am intending to give you a shift in perspective, a breakthrough to help you really move into that next level of what you're going for and really close that gap, because we are here to live in it, right? We are here to live in that abundance, in that healing, in that gratitude, not just know about it. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's just dive into today's episode. Okay, so there is the gap, as we're talking about, between knowing and living. And this is where a lot of seekers, a lot of self-development people stay. A lot of people will go to the seminar or read the book or take a program, but they may not experience those life-changing results that they went in for. Number one, it's hard to change your entire life from one book or one weekend. It does take integration. But what we're talking about is bigger. Is when, again, we've known a lot of these things, we've learned about a lot of these things, and we're really ready to live it. And the reason why most people stay is because living it requires embodiment. It requires courage. It requires us to shift our self-concept, which is no easy task. It's not, something that we just usually know how to do before we learn that, right? So it asks us to shift from it being something out there, something concept that we learn about like self-love, into it being a choice. So closing that gap, and the reason why most people don't is because it requires these things. It requires starting to live in embodiment. It requires courage. It requires loving ourselves enough to shift into that next self-concept, to live in line like our goals, like our mental health, like our physical health truly matters. And that does take growth. That is, part of the healing journey, the self-development journey, learning self-love, learning to value yourself. So this is why a lot of us don't close that gap, and it's just way more safe and comfortable to learn about it. And there's often times with clients where they're like, oh, should I take this course? It's about this and this and this. And they realize that they may not even need another course. They know these things, or they know a lot about these things. It's time to put it into practice. Instead of more videos about the thing, it's time to practice the thing, right? And again, like everything I share, this has been my journey too. I knew for a long time about manifestation, but manifestation for me is not that easy. Sometimes it is, of course. And I get the laws of the universe, and I get about possibility, and I get about the quantum. But the part that can throw me out is when I need to look after myself, when I need to believe in myself, basically the things that touch up on my self-development journey. And then in that way, manifestation can be really tough because it asks me to believe in myself. It asks me to go after my dreams. It asks me to feel good when I'm not feeling good, right? So I can know a lot, but being it is another story. And so I'm curious if you can relate to that. So living it, from my perspective, really means choosing to breathe first. So living it, from my perspective, means things like choosing to take a deep breath before you react. As you're starting to spin out, taking a deep breath, putting your hand on your heart, connecting back into your body. Choosing to regulate your nervous system as you go about your day. Choosing to walk away from things for real that drain your energy. Making a choice from your intuition and just going with it. Choosing to trust it. Showing up boldly in your business or your art or your goals or your dreams, even when you're scared. Really living it means actually taking time in self-care, actually taking time to look after yourself, choosing to eat, speak, move, love, open your heart, dream in alignment with the version of you that you say you want to become, the version of you that is waiting for you on the other side of that gap. So having these things shift from something you know about into a choice you make. I choose to love myself. I choose to be more gracious with myself. If I know that, and I'm talking as you guys, as the community, it's like saying this to yourself. If you know that, hey, I get anxious or I get really depleted when I start saying yes to things and overbook things, okay, it's time to stop. It's time to put boundaries from a concept into an action word. Living it means choice. It means choosing to show up, to try, to stumble, and to get back on the horse. And so again, what stops most of us from living it is that in this journey of choosing to regulate, overreact, choosing to go boldly after your dreams, choosing to book a self-care day, choosing to be grace with yourself and kindness, in that, it's also about trusting yourself. And we've talked about this in previous episodes recently, where it's trusting yourself to actually do it, to follow through, to face discomfort, and to shift that self-concept, to leave that, not to leave the old identity behind like it's discarded, but to upgrade, to trust that it's safe to evolve, that it's safe to shine. Trusting yourself that even if you make a decision and quote unquote fail, you're going to be okay. So a lot of times what is between us knowing something and really living it is trusting in ourselves, but it's also about fear. It's about fear of what's on the other side, fear of what it's going to take, fear of success, fear of failure, fear of outshining people, fear of what we're going to have to give up to move into that next level. As much as growth and transformation is really shiny and really positive and really great, it does come with a lot of fear, because everything you've known, what you've been programmed, good and bad, I like to say quote unquote, because there's no actual good or bad, but you know what I mean, helpful or unhelpful. Walking away from the old us can feel scary. Doing something and potentially failing can be scary. So there are a lot of things between knowing. And you can see, even more now how knowing something, learning about it, watching a YouTube video, reading a book, that's comfy cozy. But doing it is a whole other bucket. So trusting yourself that you can do it. Trusting yourself that you can be safe. And I mean in your nervous system, that you'll be able to handle it. Your nervous system will say, nope, that's scary when we're leaping. But instead, we step forward and then we do our, regulation. We make sure to ground. When I'm launching something, I take extra space. I go out in nature more. As I prepare for my retreat, every time fear comes up, or what if this happens, or what if that happens, I regulate, I breathe, I let myself feel it, and I go for a walk and I move to the other side of it. It's one thing to learn about doing scary things or about these things, but to really apply it in the moment when your body says, nope, that's scary. Or when your mind is telling you a million things that could go wrong. But the more we just learn, and then we overthink, and then we wait to feel ready, the more we do that, then we go just back into research mode instead of stepping forward, right? We just loop. I got to research it more. I got to learn more, overthinking it. I don't feel ready yet. I better learn more because if I learn more, then I'm going to feel ready, right? Have you done this with things before? And this is the place where we have to bring it from the head into the heart. The real shift happens when you drop from the head into the heart. Learn it in your head and then learn it in your heart. It goes from information to embodiment. It goes from knowing it to living like it matters and really starting to move into that. What does your most radiant, grounded, magnetic, wealthy, worthy version of you, what does she do today? How do they eat? How do they rest? How do they prioritize their needs, like their physical needs, their emotional needs? How do they move their body? What boundaries do they have? What conversations do they no longer have, or bigger conversations that they do have? How do they regulate when stuff hits the fan? How do they move through triggers? How do they move after or go after their goals even when they're scared? When you act from that energy of bringing it from the head into the heart, embodied, even when it feels sketchy, especially when it feels sketchy, that is when the shift happens. We become it. Because you can't wait to feel ready. If our body hasn't done something before, if our mind has never been there, if our nervous system has never been there, it will feel scary every time. There are people that get up on stage all the time that get nervous before each time. There are incredible musicians that still get nervous getting up there, but they do it and they practice because they want something greater. So when you act from that energy, especially when it feels stretchy and scratchy and like you want to just say like, never mind, I just want to go back into my old life. Never mind, I don't want it that bad. You act before you're ready. You create the readiness by doing things scared and knowing how to regulate. And when I say scared, it's in the context of this episode. I don't mean like run into a like bear den or, be with somebody who harms you. I don't mean that kind of scared. I mean terrified in our body about doing the next level thing, pouring back into our health, showing up in a new way, going after something big. You create the readiness by doing the thing scared. You grow into the new identity by living it now. Action creates confidence. Confidence doesn't happen from learning about confidence. Confidence doesn't happen about learning more till you think you feel confident. It's not going to happen. I have clients a lot of times starting businesses or in the beginning phases or wanting to really realign and get really like yummy and flowy and energetic in a way that's going to be really successful. And so sometimes they're saying like, I'm not ready to do this kind of reading or to set up this kind of thing or to take clients in this way or whatever it is. And as we just keep going, and I am a grounding presence to be like, we're just going to do this together. We're just going to keep moving. And then we regulate, we make sure we don't get burnt out, but we just keep steadily moving forward. Then confidence comes. And I've had people have businesses where they have a reading or something like that, and they've never done a reading before, and they do it and they're like, oh my goodness, that was amazing. Okay, I totally can't wait to do another one, right? We've all been in places like that where we're like, oh, should I go to that workout class? Or, oh, should I do the thing? And then you do it. You're like, oh my God, I can't wait for the next one. You create confidence as you get out there. And even if you go to like a new yoga class and you literally fall on your face or you can't do something, being in there, putting skin in the game, being in an environment that is good for you, even when you quote unquote fail or don't do it as good as you thought, that even helps you because you learn that even when I fail, I've got me. I'm going to keep showing up. Sometimes bad things happen. I've had live events where 2 people show up and I'm like, okay, I'm going to give this, talk like there's 100 people because sometimes things happen. You might ask someone on a date and they say no. You might not get the offer accepted on the house. You might go for an audition and you don't get it. That can happen too. But part of moving forward is learning that I'm going to be okay no matter what. So we have to just get out and live it. We have to go out and create the life that we want. And then as shit hits the fan and as we get freaked out, we use our tools. You can't wait to feel ready. So I want to narrow in a little bit more on how to close the gap before I start wrapping up this episode. So I want to point to how we want to pick a truth or an identity or something that we need to do for that next level and commit to it. Say it is a boundary. Say it is, F it, I'm going to start writing the book, or I'm going to get out there in the dating game, or I need to speak my truth. What is it that you've been learning about, but you haven't totally stepped into? It can literally be anything. And I want you to think of that one thing: health, wealth, nervous system, working out, EFT, building a business, asking someone out, healing work you've done. I want you to pick something that comes to mind and claim it. This is who I am now. I am the embodiment of self-love. I'm learning to love myself. Therefore, I am starting to become the version of me who loves myself. We put on those glasses. We commit to one aspect. And every time life bumps up against us, every time we have contrast, every time we're like, oh, never mind, I want to retreat, we learn how to breathe. And we just ask ourselves, like, what would that next level version do? What's the most that I can do from here? And some days I'm real resistant. I'm like, what's the most I can do? Okay, I can be compassionate to myself. I can just let myself cry instead of shaming myself or trying to move through it quickly. That's maybe something I can do that my next level version, as I'm healing, does. It doesn't always have to be a big, bold, crazy, choice. But you want to pick one thing and start committing to it. Creating safety as you stretch. That's the next element of closing this gap. We have to create safety as we stretch. So constantly using breath work, EFT, meditation. It doesn't mean you have to meditate for like hours a day. I just mean as you start to get thrown out, as you're like, oh my God, never mind, or oh, you start spinning out in your head, come back into your body, tap on your chest, take a few deep breaths. If you're a member of On the Path, we have a million, regulating meditations and short meditations and things you can do, but coming back into your body and reminding yourself, I'm safe to grow. I'm safe to evolve. And saying to yourself right now, I'm freaking the fuck out, but I'm going to come back into my body. I'm not being chased by a lion. Let's breathe. I'm going to be okay. And I say to myself often with big things, whether it happens or doesn't, whether this happens or not, I've got me. Whether worst case scenario happens or best case scenario happens, that's a tongue twister, I've got me. I'm going to be okay. And that helps me relax enough that I and sometimes I shake it out. I shake out the fear and the anxiety. I go for a walk. I might have a hot shower, I was going to say, or a cold shower, something to just kind of shake it up. And then I get back to taking a big step. And I just keep it moving forward, create safety as you stretch. And then the next thing I just want to say, as we're talking about closing the gap, so you want to pick one truth that you already know. You want to pick something that you've been learning, that you've been knowing about, and really commit to it. The second thing is safety as you stretch. And there's 4 things I want to go over here. The third one is catching yourself when you're in the loop of, oh, I know. Whether you're saying that to yourself or your intuition or someone close to you. I'll tell you a really funny, very short story about this. The other day, it was like a month ago or something, I don't know what it was about, but I was having like, an existential crisis or a breakdown or something. And I remember saying to my husband, like, oh, and there's so many pressures and I've got this going on and that. And I just like, I feel like there's no time for me. And I'm saying all this stuff. And he's so grounded and so calming. And he says to me, he's like, after he heard me and all that good stuff, he just said like, I really feel like remember the present moment. Like remember the beauty in right now. And our kids are little and we have this beautiful house, and just really try to come to the right now. We're sitting outside, we're sipping coffee, the birds are chirping, and I'm starting to get like almost annoyed, or I'm like, I know, but blah, 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 right? And then I heard myself fighting for my arguments, fighting for my struggle. And, and he's just like, yeah, okay. I just know that like it helps me a lot when I'm feeling stressed, just to come to the here and now, just to come to the present moment. And I heard myself, resisting it. And then I just stopped and really thought about it. And I'm breathing and I'm like kind of just hearing the few words he said, but so powerful. And I was very ready to go like, I know the present moment. I know. But really, it was exactly what I needed. I was spinning out about all this big, ungrounded, stuff, which I have the right, everybody does, has the right to feel and to vent and to have our days. It's fine. And he listened to me and he let me vent it out. But it was so funny how he's like, well, just remember kind of like the simplest thing. I'm like, I know, right? But that's where surrender, that's where the present moment isn't just something it's something you practice. So I asked myself, like, I know, but am I living that? Is that something that maybe would help me right now? And I was thinking, actually, if I spent more moments coming to the present moment and finding peace here, it actually would help me with like the overwhelm and the go and the fast pace. Like that's actually in some ways exactly what I need. I'm like, thank you, therapist husband. But it's funny because we really can just go, I know, because you do know. But again, it's living it. So maybe the cards you pull tell you something that you know, or your therapist says something, or, a friend says something, and you're just like, I know. Use that as a little flag to just gently inquire and go, okay, yeah, I know that, which is awesome. Would it be helpful? Is it actually good advice right now? And then the last thing about actually closing the gap is asking your higher self, asking that next level, the version of you that the gap has been closed, what would they do? And practice being that version of you in the little things. This is quantum leaping, but this is also bringing it from the head into the heart, bringing it from a course you took into your real life. So picking the truth you want to commit to, picking the thing that you want to really start living, not just knowing about, but being. Create safety as you stretch. Catch yourself in loops of, I know, I've already been through this, right? And then asking about your higher self or your next level self. What would they do? Would they come to the present moment and enjoy the right now? Probably. I know mine would have in that moment. And I'm glad I caught that. And that's those pockets of evidence when we go from knowing to being. Okay, my love. So I'm going to give you a couple reflection questions to ask yourself. What truth or lesson have I known but haven't fully been living? What stops me from living it? Is it fear, nervous system, old identity? And then what is one small action that you can take today, right now, to align with those things that you know? Is it a deep breath because you know about the power of your breath, but you haven't been stopping and breathing? Is it letting it in? Is it dropping your shoulders and receiving this present moment? You are not here to just learn about healing, to learn about expansion, to learn about manifestation. You are here to live healed, manifested, transformed. You are not here to learn about your worth. You are here to embody your worth. This lifetime is sacred, and you only live once this time. So let's not waste it in the middle, right? And I will take that advice as well and continue forward in my journey, because we are closing gaps. We are living it. We are moving forward now. Okay, that is what I have for you today. I genuinely hope that this served you. And if you have been curious about one-on-one work, I've got some beautiful opportunities before we're in full-fledged summer in 2025. We also have the retreat coming up in September in person. Oh my goodness. You can check out all that stuff as well as On the Path, my private community, which is literally the space to be to keep on moving forward, to gather the tools and the education. We've got a lot of cool things. So I'll put it all in the show notes. You can check out all that stuff, and I will see you in the next episode. Sending you so much love. Hey, thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. I really hope that it served you. So before you go, I want to share something with you. If you're loving these conversations about self-growth and healing and moving forward, and you're really ready for more tools, more implementation, more integration, more structure, more what do I do? I invite you over to On the Path. This is my only private community, and honestly, it's the place to be if you want to integrate, if you want to deepen your journey and you find my work helpful. Here's the vibe: bite-sized practices, ongoing support, deep dive episodes, weekly practices, monthly challenges, literally just keeping you on your path, showing up for yourself day by day, week by week, month by month. So this is where you really put it into action, and I've got your back with these assignments, tools, practices, shifts, deep dives, meditations, journal prompts, and literally everything you could need to carve out your unique journey of self-growth, self-healing, and transformation. So I'm not going to go on and on. If you feel called, you feel called. And if you check below, because you made it all the way to the end of this, you'll find a link to join On the Path for the first month for only $11. So after that, it's just $27 a month, and you can go at any time. Okay, my love, I genuinely hope this episode lit you up, and I can't wait to welcome you over to On the Path, and I cannot wait to see you also in the next episode. Thanks so much, and have a great day.